Let me just adjust my light. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Can you see me as my shape? Am I framed correctly?
Yes, for the first.
Anyway,
Hmm?
what are you drinking?
I'm drinking gemere out of a wine glass. My
And
aunt
I'm
made it.
drinking coffee. I still
Oh
want to
boy,
taste your Aunt Khamer.
it's so good. My aunt makes
Mm,
really good gemere. She even prides herself. She still refuses to give us her recipe. She says, "No, you mix it on feel," but we all know that's not true, you know. She doesn't want to share her secrets, but I'm going to get it out of her one day and I'll make it for us. But before that happens, well, you might just have to settle for coming to a family thing, because she makes
of
them all
course,
the time.
of course. Once the
Yes.
corona's done and I'm invited, I will be there. I
No,
am
definitely.
always there. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, welcome to that Indie Talk podcast. Um, Second time around, technology failed the first time. We do
Mm-hmm.
this. We do this. That look on your
Sabotage.
face is just like,
Sabotage. It's fine. I got this now. I'm ready. You just like talking to me in public. It's okay. We can do this on social platforms. It's okay. Let's talk.
I mean, this needs to be a regular thing. You've got so much knowledge about running and keeping well, and so it could actually be
Yeah.
like a monthly thing or something. But we'll see.
Well, I, I,
We'll see.
I'm planning on doing something like that for my Instagram page for the business part
Mm,
of things. So yeah, definitely. That would be cool. So we can even like maybe have an indie slash Tato bios chat and people can send in questions about like
mm.
goals or anything they want to know about running and we'll try and address whatever issues you can. So I'm cool.
Yeah, that seems like so. Keep watching, guys. More content coming. So good things came out of this month. Actually, good things came out of Corona because now you can run better and get free advice because normally Tato would charge you,
That is very true. Yes.
but it's free on the Instagram.
Mm-mm. You gotta get back to the computer time, so it's okay.
Yeah, yeah. So to start our chat, who is Tato? I always get confused between Ritato and Tato, and I'm like, is this on your ID? Is this just a username?
Oh, guys. Okay, for the record, Retato comes from two names,
Yes.
Tato and the other name that I'm not going to mention on public platforms. So I put
Okay.
them together, and that's how Retato came together. Because when you join Instagram, like Botiro or Tads, those names are like obviously common because there's so many Tatos. So I was
Of
like,
course.
what name to come up with? So Retato. But it's so funny because some people think that's my name. No, my name is Tato. So not
I
the
also thought it was a name.
no. What have
I
you
was
have you
so
ever heard
convinced.
of my name Thato? Like
Have
an
you ever heard
African
of
person?
somebody? Have you ever heard of somebody called Atlahang or Ratlahile?
Atlachang, I think I have. Yes, I
Yes,
think so.
marking register, but
I,
otherwise,
I don't know, but it's okay. Yeah, no. Tato, who's Tato? Tato is a girl from the East Rand. Born in Soweto, grew up in the East Rand. A girl who loves her sports, whether I'm watching it or playing it. Um, I'm a biokineticist. When I'm not playing sports or yeah, with my family. Oh, I come from a huge family. I'm my mother's only child. Um, what else? What else would you want to know? I don't know, Tato. Yeah, talkative, sarcastic, silly. Yeah, I don't know. Tato. Just a young girl, trying to do her thing in life. Yeah.
I will add on to that. Tato is a very positive person. She always sees the light in everything. She's also very nice because when I met her, I thought, how nice is this girl? Is she nice? Because we all had the impression that she came from the other brand, So we didn't really
Oh,
vibe with the other.
wow.
We didn't really vibe with the run crew from the corner. So I was like, let's see this girl from Three Stripes. But actually, she's very nice, and she is nice. She is nice. Palisa Mal says she is nice. Yes, that's true.
But thanks, Pali. So yeah, thank you, thank you. Some people apparently, some people think I'm arrogant when they first meet me. Apparently, I don't smile very much, so I don't know. I'm not
Let
sure.
me think. Let me think. Let me think. Because
Well, yeah.
I didn't start knowing you from running. I knew you before running. I knew you from birth because I used to
Really?
come. Yeah, I used to come to basketball. So in my head, you're always that girl, walk basketball.
Devine's friend, right?
Yes.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, okay. So some runners
Yeah.
have said they're arrogant and mean at first,
Mm-hmm.
you know, glance or whatever, and then apparently I sort of get friendly. I don't know. Well, I mean, you know, if you're running, when I'm running, I'm not nice. I don't have time to smile. I'm like, you know, pushing for my goal or I zone out actually. So some people take that personally. I literally daydream sometimes when I'm on the road. And then people are like, oh, you just walked past me. And I'm short-sighted. Oh my gosh, I'm short-sighted. So sometimes I walk past people or run past them and they think I'm being mean. It's nothing personal.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
Oh, yeah.
Anisu was said running is a moving meditation, and I never saw it like that because I was just like, oh, when are we finishing
Yes.
this? When are we finishing
I
this?
Yeah, no, 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 no. Don't think of it like that, you know. Just try, because I remember when, so I mean, I came from track athletics, right? And then I started this distance running. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so long. You know, it felt like it wasn't ending. So I decided that with each run, sort of to survive, I'd have to think of something or a song or something just to
Mm-hmm.
distract me from thinking of how long I've been running. And it helped. So just don't
Mm,
think about the distance and drag it. So literally, yes, meditation or zone out or find whatever thoughts work for you. But yeah.
mm. You mentioned track, so I know that you've been running since primary school. You have been that athlete. Can you just share a bit about your journey from 80 meters to Comrades?
Wow. Okay. So running for me started by default in grade one. You know how we all used to get forced to do PT or was it? Yeah, PT,
Yeah,
right? It was
yeah.
PT. Um, so they were like, okay, guys, line up. When the whistle goes, just run. You know, so just run your fastest. You know, I run. Then I think I win. I mean, like I'm a kid. I don't care. I don't know what's going on. You know, just I followed instructions. And then my teacher was like, "Oh my gosh, you're so fast!" Because we did quite a few exercises. And then she decided she's gonna drop me off at home that night. She's like, "I need to speak to your mom." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what's going on? Am I in trouble?" But when she got home, you know, she spoke to my mom and they came to an agreement that I am going to do athletics and that my teacher is going to drop me off after practice. So that's
Mm,
literally how it started. It started by default. It just, I was running. But over the years and with time, I started loving it. You know, I was like, oh my gosh, this is cool. Like winning races. Oh, okay. You know, you kind of get the hang of it. Um, so yeah, I mean, in primary school, I think it was like 80 meters, 150, and all of that. Then you get to high school, and it's even more exciting, you know, into athletics, into high. Oh, and in high school, what kept me going was the goals. So when I got to my school, they said if you get a certain number of honors in athletics, you can get an honors blazer. And
mm,
first get an honors blazer, then an honors blazer. So I'm like, oh my gosh, that's cool. Let me see if I can do that. Um, so that's what kept me going. And high school athletics was everything. I think I survived high school because of athletics, because I was in boarding school. I loved it. And yeah, I literally kept winning Victrix, Ladorm. And by the time I got to grade 10, I had my colors blazer. By the time I got to grade 11, I had my honors blazer. And I was good. I was like, done, you know? So yeah. Then I got to varsity and I played basketball. Because I don't know, I had achieved what I wanted to achieve in
mm-hmm.
athletics. So I'm like, hey, let me try something different. I had dated a basketball player in high school, so I was like, let me try this thing. Cool. Get to varsity. I sucked. You know, I sucked at basketball. Man, I was really bad. But I decided that I'm going to use my athleticism to my advantage. So
Mm-hmm.
all I knew was to defend. So I defend and I run really fast. And then a few coaches decided they're going to try and sort of help me. And with time, I actually grew into loving shooting. So yeah, then I played basketball for a while. And then when I started working at FNB in 2016, they had an FNB 10K race. So that's when I was like, oh, distance running. I mean, the 10K sounds like a lot when you're a
Yeah.
specialist, 100 meters or 200 meters. So I was like, okay. And that same year, my friends and I had a day that we're gonna enter the Soweto Marathon 21K.
One.
So yeah, 21K. So come FNB 10K, I had never done a 10K in my life, and then I did it, and I finished it in 1 hour. I was like, okay, not bad, you know. And in September, then I heard about NRC, and they had like a long run to prepare us for the 21K Soweto Marathon, and
Yeah.
Boxer was there. And I was like, okay, I don't know who this guy is, but I'm gonna stick to him and I'm not letting go. And we started as a big group. And by the time we got on that road leading towards FNB Stadium, it was just Boxer and I. People, it was a fun day. It was a disaster.
What was the pace?
I don't remember. I think it was 6:30, 6 minutes 30. Yeah. You know, So then we got to Soweto Marathon, Soweto FNB thingy, and I survived. But I was like, shoo, this running thing is flames, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, then I ran on marathon day, and I stuck to my paces again. I was like, I'm not letting go of these guys. My paces on the day were Joel and SK.
Mm.
And yeah, then I did a bit better than I expected. I had wanted to finish under 2 hours 30, and we finished
Mm.
in 2 hours 12 minutes. I was like, okay, maybe I could do this running thing. And then NRC, was a thing, and it was more a social thing for me. But I decided,
Yeah.
okay. And then I started, yeah. So that's how the running thing sort of happened, because then I just started attending NRC, and I've never looked back, I suppose. Yeah.
And then you came to Bram, and then Jiki marathons, comrades, done. January battle,
Right?
the
Oh
girl.
yeah, peer pressure. Then I came to realize that runners and peer pressure, man, runners are just a problem. Because they're like, no, man, you did 21 Ks, you'll be fine. When you do 42, it's just a bit more mileage, but you'll be fine. Then you think,
Yeah.
okay. Next thing you're doing crazy things. Next thing you've signed up for Comrades. Me signing up for Comrades was a mistake as well. I can explain. So yes, under Brumfy Runners, there's this crazy thing called January Battle. For people who don't know, you basically have to run 400 Ks between the 1st and the 31st of January, which is crazy. Don't do it.
How many kilometers
Um,
that per day?
sorry?
Like 15, right? It's like 15 kilometers a day. Or like 12.
Well, for me, I ran with Stan, so we just decided we're gonna kill this thing as quick as we can. So we'd
Mm.
like wake up and do a 30K on a random morning if we could, which is
Unprovoked.
not. Yeah. But yeah, so I did January battle and I was really fit. And
Mm.
then people are like, no, man, you'd survive Comrades. And I'm like, no, I wouldn't, you know. And then Tabang decides to pull out of Comrades. And it was around substitution time. And he's like, look, you're already fit. Why don't you just try it out? And Thato, being Thato, liking things, was like, okay, why not? I mean, I've done January battle. Yeah,
Mm.
wow. Next thing I know, I'm running 90 Ks. Like, really? Who does that? So, yeah, then I ended up doing Comrades, and it was a complete mess as well. But yeah, let me let you.
We have a comment here. Wait, let me just go for it. Kolile says, but I thought you were good in basketball in high school.
No ways. No, 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 no. So there was a year. I was in 11th grade when there was a basketball team that was formed because they were gonna have a basketball tour to
Mm.
Epworth. So they needed people on the team. There was a point in my high school career where people would just take me for their teams because I was so athletic. Like I was forced to
Mm.
play net, which I completely hated.
I was
So
gonna ask
around,
you.
oh, I couldn't stand netball. So around that time, they were like, okay, Tato, we need you to join basketball, the basketball team that's going to KZN for Epworth. So I was like, okay, cool, but I couldn't play. Like sharp, they said this is how you do a layup, but really I sucked. Really, girl, no, I really, really sucked. I only got better in varsity and like yeah,
Mm.
my you have to know your strengths. So I decided I'm gonna be good at shooting. I had a really strange shot. I still do. If you ask anyone in the basketball community, they actually tease me about my shot. But
Mm.
what worked for me is that my shot worked. My 3 pointers would go in. Like some of the SA coaches came and they're like, Tato, your shot is ugly. But one coach was like, guys, if her shot works, it works. It was really hard. It's still
Mm.
kind of weird and hard to defend my shot. I'll put up a video one day so you can laugh at me. But yeah, um, basketball. I only got better in varsity. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled.
Um, Mo it says, hey Tato, you're killing the pavements and tarmac, like you said, Utanda Zizo.
Who said I like things?
Mo it says,
He likes things too.
and Andrew says, I can confirm the shot, but it worked.
Thank you. Thank you. You see? Yeah. No, I have weird names. Like they really tease me about my shots.
I was gonna ask you about netball, but because in my head, right, it's a black girl's rite of passage to play netball in high school.
Ah.
Yeah. So I was like,
Girl.
how come athletic and you've never played netball?
So my issue with netball at the time, I mean, I was this track girl and then they forced me to play netball. I don't even know what's going on. And we have to wear these uncomfortably short skirts.
So yeah.
And some of these girls were very aggressive when they'd be jumping. And oh my gosh, I just didn't get it. I didn't get the hype. I missed that bus. Okay, I missed that bus. No, no, no.
So in your running life now, you've been paced. You kept up with boxer, and like when boxer says I'm running at 5, he's running at 5 the entire route.
Yes.
And you paced as well. So what have been your contrasts between being paced and pacing?
Ooh, when you are pacing, it's not about you, you know. Um, but pacing is interesting in that you have to find a balance between encouraging your people to hold on to whatever pace you have to,
Mm,
um, keep for the day, and you also have to make sure you meet the target. So,
mm,
sometimes when you're pacing, there are people who are a bit ambitious, I'd say, maybe, with the faster groups. And they're like,
mm,
let me try this out, yeah, I can run 5 minutes per K, kind of a thing. And you have to find a polite way to say, are you sure? But then some people are like, no, I really want to run this pace. And cool. Then you start running, and within the first K or two, you can see if someone's going to survive or not. So, yeah, then you have to sort of, if you can see they're not going to make it, then you have to sort of find someone on a lower group who will take them. Um, and if you have someone who's strong, but maybe they need guidance, so you kind of have to help them and say, okay, you've got it, but pace yourself, kind of a thing. So it's very different when you're the one sort of driving the bus
mm.
versus being someone on the bus where you're just holding on for dear life and you're like, listen, this is my target, and you are the pacer, so get me there. So yeah, it's very interesting on that
One
sense.
person who's paced very well for me is Leila. You mentioned the NRC training runs for Soweto back then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did those, and we signed up for 20 Ks, and was Leila and KB as the pacers. It was supposed to be like 7:30, I think. Sexy pace. We're getting there. Nah, at some point, I think we were clocking 6:15 or 6:20, and the the
No.
20-kilometer group had like spread so much. There was 3 people running with KB at the front. There was people in the middle, and we're running in Soweto, right? And it's busy because there's taxis, there's people everywhere. People are like, "No, I don't feel safe. I'm running in Soweto." and you've got people in the back. No, it was just a mess. So as a pacer, I think like not the same quality over quantity. You really need to gauge and adjust the pace and accommodate for
Yes,
people on your bus.
yes.
I don't know which Soweto marathon it was. Cherry F once came in alone, and she was like, people on a bus couldn't keep up, and then she's not bothered. She said, "We're coming in at 4:30. We're coming in at 4:30."
No, okay. So in a situation like that, come on. Like if your bus falls apart
Yeah.
and you can see that sharp you have a target, but you know, these people are not going to make it. Then you kind of have to bring your people in, and try and get them in to a target as close as possible. But if you're not going to make it, you're not going to make it. Now, to come in alone, I don't know if, because that sort of defeats the purpose. I don't know. So that question comes up. Do you come in alone to say, look, I made the target? Or do
Mm.
you bring
Is
the
that about
people
your
who,
bus?
yeah, I don't know. That's a tricky one. I remember in Soweto, it was 2018. It was 2018, I remember.
That was the highlight of my Soweto marathon that day.
Yeah, that's awkward. Oh, that is awkward. Ooh,
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
I
So just for that point, I was like, wow, yeah, no, she is my champion.
that, yeah. Pacing is
You
interesting.
know,
Pacing is very interesting.
yeah, running stories. Yeah, but that question on whether as a pacer, as a bus driver, you come in alone or you have to adjust for your people. That's something I think that's a very hot topic that will be discussed one day.
So
Yeah,
an interesting.
but it's very interesting. It's actually a hot debate. Like, what do you do? What do you do? If it's comrades, you cannot. If you're gunning for comrades yourself as a bus driver, people are
Oh,
falling apart. I'm sorry, people. I need to go.
yeah.
And that's also
I'm
another race.
fine. Yes, that's a different setup. Comrades is comrades, man. You know.
Because also you don't want it a DNF. Because
No. Ooh,
mm,
that's worth
mm,
it.
mm. But that's the politics of running anyway. You didn't mention that you are doing multiple things right now. You have your own practice. You're also a basketball coach. Could you tell us a little bit about that? Because going forward into our new normal, people will now have to do multiple things to have an income.
Oh no, so I've been doing that though, before.
Mm-hmm.
So after I graduated from Wits, I still went and played with Wits. Um, and the one year they just didn't have a conditioning coach, and someone was like, "But Tato, you're always here, you know, and you push us," because I had sort of started the running thing on the side. So they're like, "Why don't you just go for an interview?" I'm like, "Okay, cool." And when I went for the interview, it was actually so funny because I've worked at Wit Sports, like, because I was in the committee. I was the vice
Mm-hmm.
chairperson of the committee. So I felt like I was just sitting with them and catching up. And they're like, tell us about yourself. I'm like, really, guys? But I got the job. And yeah, I've been their conditioning coach for the last 3 years. Um, yeah. And so I've been doing that. And then I started my own practice last year, biokinetics practice. And on season during the professional basketball league, BNL, I also work for that team. So I'm their biokineticist slash team physio. Yeah.
Okay. For everybody who doesn't know out there, because I also sometimes get confused, what's the difference between a biokineticist and a physiotherapist?
Um, so we're very similar. There's actually we're so similar that I'd say there's an overlap, you know.
Mm,
Um, but the main difference on paper, I'd say, is that you see a physiotherapist in the acute phase of your healing. So, let's say you're in an accident,
mm,
then you're in hospital and maybe you get a surgery or whatnot. A physiotherapist is the person who's going to help you to kickstart
mm,
your healing journey. And once you've reached a certain point, then you can see a biokineticist. So we're more final phase of your rehab. We're getting you towards the end. We're getting you so strong that we want you to reach optimal fitness level or optimal healing sort of stage, to a point where you might even be fitter than what you were or stronger than what you were before any injury or accident happened. So that's I'd say the main difference. So I mean, physios even do things like needling. We don't do that as biokineticists. They do shockwave therapy, things like that. So, but they also use exercise to heal you. We do that too. So, like I'm saying, there's an overlap. So sometimes there's actually beef between physios and bios, even though we're actually supposed to work quite close together. Because some bios, yes,
You're fighting for clients.
yeah, because some physios will keep a patient a bit longer than they should, even though they should have referred them to a bio. Or some bios will take a patient, even though they shouldn't have taken the patient, and that patient sort of started with a physio. So um, it's tricky. It's tricky. It's very tricky. But yeah, we're very similar. So whenever someone doesn't understand what a biokineticist is, they understand it better when I compare it to a physio, or I bring the physio profession in, because they're like, oh, I get it now, kind of a thing. So yeah.
Because physios are like, can I say, more common knowledge, or they're more known.
Well
So
known,
whenever
yes.
yeah, so whenever you think, hey, I have a niggle, or I'm going to have an injury, immediately you think I need a physiotherapist.
Yes, yes, yes. Because what? Some people can't even say biokineticist. They're like, ah, I'm going to my biokinetist, or, like they butcher the actual name. So yeah, it's only now
Yeah.
that people are sort of starting to know about bios, or
Mm,
appreciate that, okay, this is what they do, or we can actually go for the services. So yeah.
Kim asked, when should you see a bio, or when do you see a physio? How do you decide?
Kim, I just explained, but I'll explain
You
again.
just joined.
So Kim, let's say you get an ankle injury, and your foot is swollen like really badly. Um, According to protocol, you need to go see a physiotherapist. Um, and after a few sessions, they need to send you to a biokineticist. So acute phase of your injury would be when you go to a physiotherapist, and the final phase of your injury, that's when you go to a biokineticist. But then you also get like people who have an injury that's been there forever. They've sort of been living with it. They
Mm,
can come to a biokineticist and not necessarily go to a physio first, but it depends. So like I'm saying, it's tricky, and you need to sort of be working with someone who's ethical enough to say, listen, um, I can treat this, or no, you have to go to a physio, or no, you have to go to a bio. So you kind of have to hope that you're dealing with an honest therapist in that sense.
so your practice is still fairly new, right? It's been a few months, almost like a year.
A year. I had a year
Mm,
recently.
I actually saw Clemmy posing outside your door. And I was like, when am I gonna get to this door? It's a double-edged
The big,
sword. I want to
the real,
come, but I don't want to come
why? You must come. There's nothing bad
because
about
I'm
it.
not injured.
No, but there are services that don't require you to be injured. I work with recovery. So let's say
Such
you've been
as,
doing a lot. Sorry?
such as,
There's something called rapid recovery. I don't know if you've seen the boots. Quite a lot of
is it
elites
shiny?
actually. Sorry?
Is it a shiny boot and you sit there?
Yeah, they're black boots and you sit in them. So they're really
Mm,
good for, yeah, that's not a painful something that requires you to be injured. I also did specialize in sports massages. So let's say you came and you want to get a sports massage. So yeah, you don't always have to be injured to come to the pink door. So love to see you there one day.
I didn't know that. You see, Ngabs is the famous red door. I thought you only came when you know you're broken. In
No,
summary,
no, 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 no. You can come even, just to sort of get panel beating. Some people call it panel beating. So yeah, you can come for panel
Okay,
beating. Yeah.
okay. And as a woman in business, what challenges have you experienced so far?
Ooh, where do I start? Well, I mean, starting any company is a bit of a challenge, so I won't really um, bring that into it. But as a woman, I feel that as a young woman, especially, you sometimes get people
Mm,
who, uh, do I say, they don't trust you. Yeah, because they're like, oh, you're still so young. Um, but they come, right? They come to your practice because they sort of want to see what you're about, or they've heard about you. They're like, what can she do? But you get people who have been treated by physios or bios for like, who have experienced that like 10 years, 20 years, So
mm,
then you sort of prove yourself, inverted commas, and show them that you're more than a young face, or you're more than just this tiny person who's just female and doing their own thing or have started their own company. You show them that, you know what, I know what I'm doing. I've, I've got this kind of a thing. So I think that's one of the first challenges. The second challenge can be from male patients. Let me tell you a story. So there was this patient who um, came, and he's quite influential, he's quite powerful or whatever, and he came for his session. And during the session, obviously, you talk to your patients. You can't just be helping them
it's a
in
robot.
silence. But there are certain things you could see he was saying, or sort of trying to see how I'd react to them. And, because you're at work, you have to remain professional. But
Mm,
then I could see that this guy is sort of trying his luck, kind of a thing. Long story short, when it was time for him to pay, um, then he's like, "Oh no, can I just give you cash?" And I don't take cash, right? I take things via EFT or swiping.
mm,
And after a long debate, he's like, "Okay." I'm like, "Okay, you can pay cash this once, but next time, you have to swipe." And there was a patient there already. So I just took the money, I didn't count it. So during my break, I count the money, and this guy's giving me like 1,000 rand extra. Like, oh, okay. So I call him, I'm like, "Sir, you gave me 1,000 rand extra. Did you make a mistake, or are you paying in advance for your other sessions?" You won't believe what he said to me. He was like, "No, just keep it for yourself or your future kids." Oh, because we had spoken about children, during the session. So it's like, just buy something nice for yourself or keep it for your kids. But there was a tone in the way he said it. It was like, okay, so do you think just because I'm young and I'm this female, you can just sort of throw your money at me, kind of a thing? But you have to, remain professional. You have to then be like, you know. So I had to pull myself towards myself because I was really upset. I felt a bit
mm,
offended by what he had done. And I was like,
mm,
"Sir, I can't take your money. Um, Please, can you give me your bank account so I can pay you back?" And then he refused, and I ended up refunding his money via EFT, e-wallet. But you just get guys like that, or some male patients who come into your practice and they sort of try to treat you like a piece of meat. They
mm,
think you're just this young girl, who they can just mac on or whatever, pretend they want your services and they want more, but that's not happening. I'm running a business. I'm not here to make
mm.
friends like that or do silly things like that. This is my brand and my business. So I think that's been one of my challenges with some of my male patients. Um, yeah, and starting admin can be a lot, but yeah.
The story you just told right now, what can I say? It's across the board, right? It's not just limited to your practice. In your daily life, there are instances where you're made to feel like a piece of meat, like when you're running and you're not listening to music. You'll be catcalled. Those examples, or you don't feel safe to. What I've picked up is that women don't feel safe to run alone anyway, anywhere in the
Mm,
world. Not just the
mm.
Joburg thing, it's anywhere in the world. So because obviously this is not a problem that stems from women, but this is a problem that stems from men. So what can men do to lessen the problem?
they need to learn to respect women, you know. I mean, we're living in a time right now where gender-based violence has just gotten out of hand in this country, you know. Um, Men need to call each other out more, you know.
Mm.
I was listening to something earlier on this week where there was a man who was talking about how, you know, like, let's say next door there's a couple that's always fighting, or there's a guy who beats his wife up. And he's like, you know, as a guy, you think, ish, I'm not getting involved because it's got nothing to do with you, you know. But guys need to call each other out because it starts there. You know, guys need to say, man, gents, you know, these women matter, or you know, women need to feel safe. You know, we can't just be treating them like they're a piece of meat. We can't be catcalling them. We need to protect them. These are our queens, because women are important, you know. We're the beginning of so much, you know. Children, where do children come from? Who carries them? Women. But you know, if men are just, what's going to happen to the next generation, kind of a thing, you know. So, and I think it also starts with you in your household, just like from raising your kids and treating your, like teaching your sons from a young age that, you know, you have to respect other people and women, you know. Because I think we've come to a point where it's almost like women are treated, like being a woman is treated like a condition. I
Mm.
think we're at that point. Like, why is that a thing? You know, why should we be treated differently by virtue of being a woman, or treated badly by virtue of being a woman? You know, we matter as well. So I think guys need to be more accountable to each other. And
Mm.
if 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 they're not acting right, they need to call each other out. So one of my best friends is a guy, and there was a time where recently where people were, you know, sharing stories like, ah, Atlahang touched me, or he raped me, or whatever. And he was very shocked to find out that one of the guys that was called out was a guy that he was very close with and had known for years. And
Mm.
what he and his friends did is that they looked for their friend and they're like, what you've done is wrong, you know, and we're going to report you to the police. That kind of thing, that kind of behavior. If guys are more accountable to each other like that, or call each other out like that, there will definitely be a change in society, because guys won't just get away with things like rape or, you know, disrespecting
Mm.
women and getting away with it. This guy had been
Mm.
beating up his girlfriends and just getting away with it from relationship to relationship. His marriage had even ended. And now, you know, his things were coming out, and they called him out and they reported him. So if we had more guys doing things like that, I think there'd definitely be a difference in society.
Mm. You mentioned
Hmm.
you mentioned that we have to change the way that we raise our kids now, because behavior like that stems from that old notion of, oh no, he's a man, don't ask him where he slept, he's a man,
Hmm.
Bekezela, you know, things like that. So they grow up with that, and then that's just ingrained in the behavior. It must be accepted because he's a man.
And that's not right. So if
No.
we change that sort of thing from a young age, saying, you know, my son, you know, son, you need to treat women with respect, with love, with honor. You need to be kind to them. You need to, you know, if you see a lady walking alone, even if you're going somewhere, walk her so that she can feel things like that. If you start those little
Mm.
things, will go a long way. But like you're saying, we grow up and we're like, ah, no, men do this, men do that. So it's okay. It's not
Mm.
okay. It's not okay. So yeah.
And you see the reality of these things, on like on just normal TV shows, especially on stuff like Modern Love and Yatsatela and Yajola Nene. Because when you grow
Mm.
up, maybe in a suburban area like Joburg, with people who have a modern mindset, you think that, oh, these are problems that are not happening. But once you actually see it on TV, you can see that the world really hasn't changed from what it was 10, 20 years ago. Men are still acting the same. It's just that now there's so much going on that it's not even highlighted, you know?